this is Katie.
And this is Kara,
Welcome to Life in the Party.
your unofficial guide to growing up and having fun. Thanks for joining us. So this episode is going to be a little different than our previous episodes. We wanted to do a little happy hour vibe, some decompressing conversations where we're not super scripted or structured. So we made a drink and we just kind of freeballed it for this episode. So me and Katie are going to do a cheers.
Woo!
Cheers.
Yay.
And we hope you enjoy.
My rock collection.
Yeah. It's got to be worth at least
thousands. It's thousands.
It's definitely thousands, right?
Right now it's probably like, I would say at least 1,000, if not more. Maybe a couple thousands. I went on a rock buying binge. Dane was like, I miss the days when you were on TikTok lives buying rocks from people.
Katie.
I did, but the
you were doing it on TikTok?
Yeah. I got like...
Why didn't you tell me this?
Because nobody had to know.
Oh my God. You would literally watch me get on TikTok lives and like troll people, and the whole time you were holding in that you used to like attend auctions.
I'd be like, Daniel, we have to watch this for 2 hours until they pull up this specific rock I saw in the preview. He's just like, okay. So I have it on,
my God.
But she was like, they were really good about what they had and good with deals. And for some reason, this is when I was at the other apartment, I was like, I got fucking money. I didn't have fucking money. I should not have been doing it. I have some cool pieces. I can show them to you in a minute.
How many pieces did you buy on TikTok? Do you call them pieces, by the way?
Well, there's, I guess you would say, specimens or rocks. Like probably specimens.
How many specimens did you buy on TikTok?
I bought a smithsonite, a garnet crystal, a rutile star.
Oh my God.
I bought like 6 or 7. Because I wouldn't go on it every time. It's like
Katie,
4 times a week. I would go
that
on.
Is giving like your dad. That is literally like the same. That's like the new age version of like what your dad would do.
eBay buying is now just getting on TikTok.
Did you tell him you did that?
I told him because I was like, buy the rock presents. I was like, oh, well, I do TikTok live auctions. Like, do they have a store? I was like, yeah, but they don't have like the stuff. You know, it's not an auction. It's like they'll pull up a rock and it'll have a number. And you have to be the first one to type the number in if you want it, kind of thing. And then she just says a person's like name. It's like,
and how do you know that they're real?
Because I know what I'm doing.
Damn.
Yeah, it's because I was like, I wouldn't do this if the dealer's actually in Colorado, like out in the mountains there a little bit, like only like an hour away from here. But like they're pretty reputable. I've seen all the stuff and they have like very informative videos. So I was like, I know they know what they're talking about. And I also know what to look for. So
okay, what other secrets are you keeping?
None. I don't think so. I didn't think that was this. Because Daniel's like, when are you gonna buy some rocks? I was like, I don't know. Because I haven't bought any from them since I used to live over there, because I was just like, maybe I shouldn't be spending. Because it was when I was done living there, I was like, maybe I shouldn't live here for money reasons. I was like, this is more than my 1 month paycheck. So I probably shouldn't live here. And at the same time, I was like, maybe I shouldn't be just buying rocks on TikTok auctions.
I feel like once in a blue moon, but maybe it could be a slippery slope.
It can't. Oh, it can't be, because once you buy one, you kind of want to buy like 3. So that's what I would do. I'd buy like 3 or 4 at a time, but I've only done it like 3 or 4 times. So maybe
3 or 4 times 3 or 4.
So I probably have like 9 from them. Damn. I can pull them all out and take a picture. We can post it.
Damn.
It's not that weird. Just be informed about what you're buying.
I'm not judging. I'm just shocked that I didn't know about this.
For the fans, just be informed. Know what you're doing.
How about you tell people that they probably shouldn't do that, because they won't know what they're doing?
I mean, I'm not saying doing with rocks, but with anything.
Yeah.
Like if you whatever you're into it, like know what you're doing. Like I wasn't gonna do that. I'm pretty cheap, which is why it's weird for me to even do that. But I was desperate.
Oh my God, don't
So
say
I was like,
desperate.
it got me the whole like scarcity mindset of like, oh my god, they'll never have rutile stars ever again. And then they have
Oh.
some like 6 months later, and I'm like, I know, obviously, like I'm just like, there's only 9 of them. Oh my god, kind of thing.
At least you didn't buy. If you said you bought like 30, I would be like, okay, I
No.
think you have a problem. We should talk about it. But
I think we should let's look over your budget. And I have so in my budget app, I do have a rocks section.
oh,
I can tell you how much I spent on the rocks. Let's see. Ooh, do I even want to know? That's the real question.
I want
This
to
is
know.
getting real. Uh, what's the total? Okay, like $1,000.
And how long?
I bought 2 sets in April, one in September last year, October 2023, and September, October 2023. And then I
So that's
got that big rock, that Amazonite I included in the rocks thing.
so that's more than a year's worth.
Of
Yeah.
That's yeah, it's essentially like 1,000 of that was, it's like 1,050 was in 1 year, which is why I was like, I probably shouldn't do that so much.
Damn.
Well,
That's okay. That's your hobby.
it is. It is okay. Yes, it is. I think the issue was I just shouldn't have kept doing it back to back. I was like, I should have a budget or like wait for something really cool. But the thing is, it's always cool. Like there's always
Yeah.
so many cool things. I'm like, oh, I just want it. I want it.
I feel like you probably just like needed to treat yourself to something.
I do. I don't really treat myself a lot, which I think I'm starting to do a little bit more with other things. But now I'm back into my like, let's save mindset for
Yeah.
reasons.
When I treat myself, I feel like
What do you do when you treat yourself?
it's usually like buying myself a don't do I feel like it's like buying myself a coffee and a treat. If I get like an actual like pastry type deal from somewhere, I'm like, oh, I'm treating myself.
Mm-hmm.
Or I feel like since we moved to Atlanta, it's been like shopping because we live in a shopping center. Like
You do live in a shopping center.
and
Mall.
I did / do need like clothes. I kind of stopped shopping for a while because I was renting for like 3 or 4 years, and then I was like, I'm not buying clothes, period. And then I like would get in such a bad mood when I was trying to like get ready to go somewhere because I didn't have any clothes.
Because you kept renting and you didn't have the right thing that you wanted.
Yeah, well, like renting is great. Like I still do that, but you still need like other things because I'm not renting like 12 items of clothing at a time.
Mm-hmm. Especially for like a weekend. You're like, oh, cool, I rented 2 tops.
Yeah.
One of them is appropriate, so I'm wearing that every day.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but it's cute if it works.
I feel like shopping and then also like I think going on trips and not being super conservative with my spending because I feel like for the longest time like I really had to be conservative with my spending on trips, and like now I'm like, no, I can actually like go to a nice restaurant, I can get nice drinks, and I don't feel bad about it.
I'm treating myself. Yeah, that's what I like to do on trips too. I try to like, maybe not the most expensive thing, but we'll see how it goes. This might just be my side of TikTok I'm on, but I get some of those like dark fantasy TikToks still. Do you remember when that was like a thing?
Wait,
Did
what
you get
is
those?
dark fantasy?
It's like it hurts this sound. I'll play it for you. I'm sure you'll recognize this TikTok sound while it is before we lose it. R.I.P. Fucking R.I.P. Can you hear that? Why is it doing that?
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
You never heard this?
You're like, wait, you just got to hear the horns. You're definitely going to know what it is.
There's no words.
Or
Just
synth.
that.
What is that?
It's just like 80s synth of like stuff.
What's happening in the video?
Oh, it's just like dark fantasy pictures of like, those like 80s style like fantasy book covers? Like kind of like drawn, that old thing, but it was like the dark fantasy like Labyrinth and those old movies from the 80s. kind of stuff, but just with that song, and they're like, oh my god, AI, whatever. But it's always like, this is your sword if you were in dark fantasy time. So I'm like, ooh, what sword am I? And then I'm like, oh, Kara's this sword. And then I'm like, oh, what's my mom's sword? It's so dumb, but I always look for yours too.
Oh my god.
If I see some, I'll
Wait,
send
what
them
does
to
my
you.
sword say? Probably nothing good. You've never sent it to me.
Probably because I was like scared I didn't know what this is. If I sent it, you'd have been like, what is this? There was like also like, this is your dragon. Dark fantasy.
Oh my god.
Let's see. Like, this will be like, that's not the song. It'll be like your dragon companion. Oh my god. It's a video. So it'll be like, I'm that person because it's January, and then you're that one because it's whatever. But I don't know the one that I found because it was actually like more thought out than the other ones that have like 20 likes.
You need to send it to the thoughts.
Just you and me and Maggie can only open it up in the chat. I'll screenshot it for everybody because it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But it was funny, like, it was like, what sword are you? And like, everyone was like a cool one, except my dad was like a common house knife. Because that was September. So I was like, oh, cool.
Aw, that makes sense for a Virgo, though.
It does. Yeah.
No offense, but.
Sorry, Ryan. And
a lot of
everybody
other
else. We do know some Virgos.
Yeah. Kaya likes doing this thing where she like chases us around that like center thing. You know where like how you can go to Ryan's little office area from the hallway
and loop around.
Yeah. I'm out of breath because I was running.
Oh, it's so cute.
But she mostly just likes to chase me.
Not Ryan.
Yeah. She starts getting scared of him because I think he's probably accidentally like stepped on her and stuff. And like he's just like not as graceful.
Aw.
Yeah. But yeah, she like she does it almost every night. She like will cry until we like start egging her on for me to like run around the thing. So I did that for a couple times. But yeah, snowpocalypse.
Snow party.
Well, I have mixed feelings about it because we were supposed to go out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And then we couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fine. I would have my biggest thing is that like I took a day off work.
That
so
Friday.
That we could go out of town. Yeah. And
did you just work or
no?
You were like, okay, I was still gonna take this day off. Okay.
I was like, I'm just gonna relax or something.
Perfect.
But it was literally like we pretty much thought we were gonna go. We were gonna rent like a 4-wheel drive car because mine is not. And then Friday morning,
yours is not.
And then Friday morning, I woke up at like 7 something because we were gonna pick up the car at 9, and I ran out to the living room to look at the snow, and it was like a lot of snow. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all got like what, 4 or 5 inches or something like that? That's a ton.
But like even just the size of the snowflakes and like how fast it was falling, it only snowed for a couple hours. So I was like, yeah, I guess we ain't going. And then I opened up Instagram and looked at ATL Scoop, which is like the Instagram account here. And I saw all these crazy stories.
I watched the whole thing that you sent me. Yeah, you sent me that
one. Was it?
You sent me one of someone snowboarding, but I watched the entire like 40 post.
Oh yeah.
Story. I was like, what the hell is happening in Atlanta? And so the people like flexing with their cars in the snow.
Yes.
I loved it. Oh my god.
Everything was great about it except for the people acting crazy on the road. So I was like, no. I was like, it's not worth it. Like, then they shut down part of the highway because like there was a bridge and it was iced over. So I was just like, no.
It seems like they did a better job this time than the last time Atlanta had snow. They were just like, don't fucking leave your houses, people. Everything's shut down. Just don't.
Yeah.
Go on a walk. Stop driving.
So I do wish it snowed a little bit more because it
Mhm.
mostly snowed early Friday morning. Like I got up at like 7 or something and it snowed for like maybe another hour and then it was
Mhm.
done. Um, but it was cute. It was like nice to walk around with Kaya.
When did it
Um,
melt? It's still
like
there
today.
today? Oh, that's good. That's not too
There's
bad.
still
That's
a
like
little bit, but Saturday was still very cold. Like
Mhm.
me, Ryan, and Eileen went on a walk to get coffee Saturday morning with Kaya. It was really cute, but it was freezing. Like I can't remember the temperature, but it was just so cold. And then so yesterday I like bundled up extra because I was expecting it to be like the day before, and then yesterday it was like hot and it started melting everything.
Mhm.
But
That's
it
like
was
what it is
fun.
here. It'll snow and then be like cool for a couple days, and the snow
Hmm.
is really nice. Then it just like melts really quick because the sun's out. The
Yeah,
best snow, honestly. Like,
yeah, yeah. It was cute. Honestly, like watching, yeah, the social media, the like people who like are flexing with like ring lights and snow and like their cameras. There's like people out doing like photo shoots, like clearly just because there's snow.
I loved it. It's so great.
And
I
then
was like, how did all these Atlanta people get snowboards and skis? What y'all do?
yeah, I know.
Like,
And
where you
then
come from?
there was this like news clip of this guy at Piedmont Park and he's like telling everyone like stay home, don't drive, like blah blah. And then he's like at the same time he's like, look how much fun all these people at Piedmont Park are having, like skiing on the hills. Like I'm like, okay, you're not really selling like staying at
They're
home.
totally gonna come hang out at a park,
But a
100%.
lot of those people probably walked, which is
The benefits
something
of
that they
Atlanta,
left out.
that belt
But
line.
yeah, it was cool. It was really pretty. I I did reading. I did lots of reading, and
What you reading right now?
I'm reading this book called Post Traumatic. Um,
Thanks. Is
has
it
like a
sad?
pretty. It's like a little depressing. Like the main character is pretty insufferable. She's
Is
like,
it fiction or a nonfiction story?
it's fiction.
Fiction.
It's just,
Oh,
it's like
okay.
about a half Puerto Rican, half black female attorney at a psychiatric hospital
Ooh,
who's
that's
basically like facing all of these challenges, like addressing her family trauma as
like
an
people
adult
who
woman.
in like people in the prison who did the stuff that her family did or something like that.
No, so I mean, kind of like
Okay.
there was a lot of. I don't want to like if anyone's who's listening wants to read the book, I
You
don't want to
read
ruin
it.
it, but
Would you
she's just
recommend it? I
she's
guess.
someone who is like a little over intellectualized about things. So like
She's not actually experiencing it. She's thinking about it.
she yeah, like she does have a lot of family trauma, but she is like one of those people who she self describes herself as a narcissist at some point in the book. But
Oh,
she's just one of those people who like finds a way to hate on anything that anyone does and
so,
says.
she's an unreliable
She's
narrator.
miserable. She's
Yeah.
literally miserable. And
Ugh.
I'm
Do you like the
getting
book?
I do. I like
Okay.
the book. I like the writer. I think it's a good writer. The character gets worse. I feel like she
Mhm.
hopefully will get better like right at the end. I'm at like probably the last 20 pages or something.
Like a
But I
redemption, little tiny redemption arc for a second.
maybe
Did she
like
learn something, or is she
a
gonna like stay the same?
literal tiny redemption. But I also don't know enough about PTSD to know that if she actually has it, because the book's called Post Traumatic. She does talk about all these things that sound like she probably has it. So I
Well, I
wonder if
mean,
like
it
that.
sounds like she's an unreliable narrator. So when you have books written from certain perspectives of like people who are like, I'm a narcissist, everything that you read is from that perspective. So
But
is
it's
everyone
also
actually really
obvious.
that bad? You know what I
It
mean? Yeah, but like that's a big thing with
yeah.
some of the stuff is like reading books is like, oh well, these people aren't actually giving me the full side of the story because the narrator is not a good one. Like it's not an
Mhm.
omniscient narrator, which is a big problem. I think people are just like, oh, I feel this way about this. It's like you don't know because this character may hate this person, but you only see that hate, not who that person character actually is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But it's good. I would
okay.
recommend it to anyone who's interested in like family dysfunction or like mental health, which I feel
Okay.
like is a large audience. Like
Yeah,
she
it's probably
go
a lot
into
of
it
people.
knowing that the main character will annoy you. But I feel like I like learned something while I was reading it, and I feel like the writer did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, you have like main characters that are annoying that you just don't like the character, but then you have characters who are like not good characters, but it's a compelling story. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah.
that's my issue with Daisy Jones. I like the book was fine. I got it, but I just like did not like Daisy Jones at all.
Mhm.
Like everything from her perspective, I just like hated. I was like,
I
who
read
is
that
this
book
girl?
though as I was like as if I was watching some books I will read from the mindset of like I'm watching a movie. And I
Mm-hmm.
have way more patience for characters in movies that are horrible or like really
Mm-hmm.
annoying or bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then some books I don't read from the mindset of watching a movie. Like I feel like I read the Daisy Jones as like pure entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't do that for all books.
Did you watch the show?
I did.
Did
Yeah.
you like it? I need to watch it. It's on my
I
list.
liked it. But I'm like kind of a sucker for like a 70s
70s
like
vibe.
kind of vibe. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like anything like that I feel like I'm a little bit of a sucker for. As long
Oh
as like
no.
it's done tastefully, and I feel like they did a good job with the show.
Yeah, no, I want to watch. I just saw some stuff about it and I was like, "Oh, I never watched that show." But I definitely like want to comment on the fact that I have read books where I'm like, this character makes every wrong decision, but I still love that character. You know what I mean? Like with
Mm,
other characters, I'm like, this person, I hate everything they're doing, but I still don't like them. And I have a hard time. Because I kind of put myself in certain ways, or like, do I feel like I'm getting enough explanation? Because I felt with Daisy Jones, it felt kind of superficial for her character. She's
mhm.
just the lost,
Yeah.
talented person versus some other ones where it's like, oh, I'm actually getting a super nuanced take on your psyche and your decision
Yeah.
making, which I disagree with wholeheartedly. Like you do some bad things, but
Well,
like,
some books I think also I was like listening to this podcast about storytelling,
ooh,
and it was talking about how good storytellers don't give a lot of details because good storytellers allow the listener to like come up with their own thing in their head. So
mm-hmm,
like a book like the Daisy Jones and the Six book is like you can look at it as like yeah this like super stereotypical archetype,
mm-hmm.
but also like
You put it
everyone is
on
kind of
yourself.
yeah everyone's kind of like coming away with like their own nuances of
Oh yeah,
like
I
oh
know a
like
lot of people like
yeah
the book, so I feel like I'm probably one of the minorities who's like, it was. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like,
no I think
I
I've
didn't see
talked
the
to
hype. I
somebody
think as
else who
everyone
didn't like
did,
it. I can't
huh?
remember who. I said I think I've talked to somebody else who didn't like that book.
I think I would like the show much more, which is why I'm like, there are some things that are much better in different media. Like I remember
Yeah,
Forrest Gump apparently was a book. My mom read the book. She's like, the book fucking sucked, but the
your mom said the
movie,
F word.
no, I haven't put that in there. Now my mom doesn't like when we say that word.
Yeah, I was gonna be surprised if she said that.
No, no, but she like the movie is really good. So you have a lot of those. Often it's very like generally the book's better, but every once in a while you get a thing like the story is better than that.
Well,
But that sounds like a
I'll
good book.
rewatch the Daisy Jones show with you.
Ooh, for the plot.
Telepath or like I don't know, not we can't do it over FaceTime. I guess we could do it on the pod.
We can do it on the pod.
Probably copyright issues.
We're not famous enough to get copyrighted.
Katie,
If
trust me,
someone
Zuck is on my back.
Zuck
No,
thinks
Zuck's foot is on my neck and it's embarrassing.
Zuck thinks there's too much femininity in technology.
Also, anytime I try to report like an actual bullying comment that I see, I get
Like you
some
do that on
report.
like on someone else's post or
Yeah,
just
I
like
get like a report back that's like, yeah, we actually didn't find anything wrong with that. And I'm like,
it's an AI.
but there's something wrong with me like posting a joke or like posting the word bitch on my story.
Yeah, you're done. Zuck's got your
Who
number.
is reviewing this stuff?
AI. It's like, nope. You're subtweeting. Doesn't count.
Come here.
Kaya.
Come on. Up, up, up. Come on.
Oh, she doesn't
Come
want
on.
to now?
Good girl.
Oh, hello.
Say
So
hi.
cute. Oh, little Kaya. So cute. I was gonna ask, did you see all this stuff on now I finally caught up on my TikToks? That everyone's moving to Red Note? Did
Okay,
you
I
do
saw
that? And what are
one
you gonna do?
podcast about, or not one podcast. I saw one TikTok
Mhm.
using the term red note, but I have no idea
It's
anything about
uh
it.
it's a TikTok that's actually owned by the Chinese Communist Party, which is why everyone's moving to
So
it
is it
because
a
it's like
joke that people are moving to it?
it's a protest move, I think, because I think the problem is that they don't want to jump straight to Google and Meta because they're the ones who pushed this ban. Because the issue
Mm.
is it's if you want to ban an app for national security because of China, then you need to ban Temu and Shein and probably a ton others. Those aren't getting banned. Temu
What
takes
about,
the
like,
exact
wouldn't you think Apple, I mean, I'm speaking out of my proverbial behind, but wouldn't you think Apple would be pretty bad?
just Apple products or and
Well, like,
Apple what?
Apple seems to, like, wouldn't they have ownership of all of our data?
Well, they do because they are the iOS, I think. But every time you use an app, the app has permissions. TikTok has a lot of permissions. The problem is though is that those same permissions are also shared by Temu and Shein and all those other Chinese-owned apps. And the issue is that, like, well, if you want to ban something for national security reasons, ban all of it. Don't have any
Yeah.
non-US created apps in your app store. If that's what you're concerned about, is foreign
Yeah.
governments influencing things. But when you're banning a social media platform that is unpoliced by the major tech companies in the United States, it seems to be that you're having a free speech issue and they don't want a that big of a platform that doesn't kind of toe a party line as a major corporation. Like, what is it? What do you have? Meta, X/Twitter, Snapchat, and YouTube, Google, all those are major tech companies in the United
Mhm.
States that invest so much into lobbying and so much into like rules in the government that like TikTok's a threat to them. And who
Yeah.
also wouldn't want the was it 160 million US TikTokers on their platforms, which a lot of them are on them already, but spending way more time on reels or shorts. So
Yeah.
that's the big problem, I think. And I agree with that. I was like, yeah, if you want to ban stuff for national security, which I don't like because I think that's touchy, especially because the group that runs TikTok is owned by like a majority of US shareholders, but is still partially owned in China because ByteDance owns them and everything or whatever. So it didn't meet the full requirements of someone buying it out to keep it in America. But Trump loves it, so maybe he'll keep it. But now everyone's like, I've been seeing stuff about people going to Redno, which is like a new TikTok that's actually owned by the Chinese Communist Party as like a fuck you because they're like, we don't want the Chinese getting our data, but we're okay if Meta and Google and everybody else has that exact same data.
Mhm.
And that's the problem. And I saw something that was like, kids these days never grew up in a world where their data was like a privacy thing.
Yeah.
To Gen Z and Gen Alpha, your data was always gone. It never was yours. Facebook ruined that. Like all the social media is now like capitalized off of your data. So instead of being like, oh, my data should be private, it's like, no, I know my data is not private, but who gets to see my data is the question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for the older generations, it's like, no, my data should be private. No one needs to know what the hell I'm doing. Now, it's who do I share it with? Because I know someone will be seeing it. So
But
they're
I don't
picking
know.
China.
My thing is, yeah, I get all of that. Thanks for sharing it because I haven't been reading that much about it, but I obviously know it's like a data issue and like an
Mhm.
international security issue. But like Facebook was getting in all this trouble for election interference with Russia. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not like um international influence
No,
isn't
it's
already
it's
happening. And
no,
that's
yeah,
by choice. That's by American choice. Like like an American billionaire
mm-hmm,
chose to work with somebody to actually like seriously impact the future of our country.
mm-hmm.
So
That,
I don't like,
but that's
you
the
know what I
problem is
mean?
they don't have that influence as much anymore, and they want it back under the
Mm,
guise of national security. The amount of people who use, especially this election cycle, as opposed to the last one, who use TikTok and stuff like that for their news as opposed to Fox or CNN or whatever the hell it is astounding. And to have a foothold or a chokehold on what narrative can be spread versus, because TikTok is very left leaning generally, I think. At least that's the side I'm on.
I mean, the side I'm on, yeah, but like
Yeah.
I'm sure there's crazy stuff on there.
But with just like the age, younger generally leans left, and a lot more younger people
Mm-hmm.
are on TikTok. But also TikTok helps a lot of small businesses work. TikTok is the lifeblood for a lot of people who are influencers and things like that.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I
like
mean, think of all of
it's
the
not
companies
just
that
free speech. You're ruining people's like
yeah.
livelihoods.
I said this a long time ago to Ryan. I was like, the economic impact, which sounds silly because now it's like this big talking point, but really the economic impact that not having TikTok will have, because so like such big portions of some businesses' marketing budgets and their return on investment is coming from like social media, especially
Yeah,
TikTok.
especially music and like fashion. I know, like literally, there's a new Billboard music chart that's just TikTok. YouTube
Mm-hmm.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
No, iTunes didn't do that. There's a full-on Billboard chart that's TikTok popular songs that then eventually infiltrate general music, because that's where trends start. And if you don't have that access, big companies are actually going to hurt because they can't push new things. They can't grow in a way. I don't know. Again, as not influencers ourselves, we only have a special
We're
eye
just
on it.
businesswomen.
Yeah, professional
But I did
podcasters.
see something recently about Facebook or Meta being more
Mm-hmm.
lax on
Yes,
bullying or hate speech or
they're
something.
getting rid of the fact checkers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
The
now
fact
community
checking.
notes. They are moving a lot of their corporate offices to Texas to get away from the libs in California. They are kind of
Well, the
doing an
libs are clearly having to like leave areas of California, so they're gonna
yeah.
go
Well, they just don't
somewhere.
want that influence. They want the Texan influence, I guess. Which I don't know what the fuck that means, because there's a ton of Californians in Texas, but okay. um, but they're doing that something similar. What I think is like what Twitter did with Elon Musk, and becoming just like, oh, I don't want to. I actually don't want to do these things that are like, honest and fact checking and you know what I'm trying
They're
to say, I
bad
guess.
at it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they are now. Twitter literally got rid of it. It's just sort of like community notes where I can
They're
take
like,
a
we're
comment.
firing our AI,
Yeah.
who
They
we pay
fired a
zero
bunch of
dollars a year.
they got rid of DEI at Meta and stuff like that. Just a lot of stuff that kind of spits in the face of like general liberal policies. And I was seeing some stuff that's like, people forget that Mark Zuckerberg got famous when he first made Facebook. It was a hot or not ranking at Harvard.
I could never
So this
forget.
guy loves women. This guy loves, doing the right thing. He literally got Facebook started to rate attractiveness of people
Yeah.
at a school.
Meanwhile, he would have been ranked at a very low ranking.
Mm-hmm. I saw a scene. It was from that Social Network movie where the girl he was dating at the time, she was like, "I'm sure you're gonna be like a very successful person, and you're gonna think that people don't like you because you're a nerd." This is when she's dumping him. But she's like,
By
it's
the
not
song.
because you're a nerd, it's because you're an asshole. It's like people like try to pretend that it's, oh, because it's not who I am. It's like this, oh, I'm a nerd. It's like, oh, they just
It's
don't get
because people
this.
are judging you.
Yeah, well, he literally was like, you're not smart enough. He
Yeah.
was like pretty much shitting on her. And I was like, girl, yeah, you're right. But that's a lot of people in some industries. Unfortunately, they
I would say that's a lot of people in every industry.
yeah. Honestly though, not podcast industry, aka us.
Yeah, not us. Never us.
Never us. I've never done anything wrong in my life.
Hashtag never us.
I love that. But so I was wondering if you're gonna go on that app or not, or what your plan is when
No,
TikTok
I
dies.
don't even.
You have a plan?
No, I don't.
Instagram Reels?
Do I have
Daniel,
an evacuation plan for
yeah.
TikTok? No.
What are you gonna do? Because I was like, Daniel, I have a very Daniel's like, why don't you just follow all your people on TikTok on Instagram? I was like, no.
No, the idea of that literally makes me
No.
want to shed tears in a way of like, TikTok is funny, Instagram is not funny.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
not.
it's just not the same. Like Instagram is like,
The algorithm's bad.
No, Instagram is like your living room during the holidays when like your family's having an event and like some family friends come over, maybe some of your friends come over. Like that is Instagram. Like it's like you can kind of be yourself, like you like kind of like putting on like a little bit of an image. You can't like totally be yourself or like someone's going to get pissed off at you like for being rude or like weird or you're
Mm-hmm.
not fitting in. Instagram you kind of have to fit in. Like TikTok is like I don't know. I just feel like I used to like
Well,
talk about TikTok right after COVID with Ryan and try to explain to him like how special it is.
I was like, you don't get it.
I'm
Nobody
like,
gets it until you're on it.
it is like a collection of like so many funny, entertaining, talented people that you would never be connected to otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Like, also, I think part of it is that Instagram, Facebook, like together, have been around for a decade prior to
Yeah.
like TikTok. Like, that's a very sub like group of people that I follow. And I was
Mhm.
like, that Instagram thing is 100% different than what I am on TikTok. I don't want to merge that. They're separate. I got my shit here. It allows me to like be in a more genuine, like my first app that I love for social media is TikTok.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, unless I'm like, oh, what are my friends doing? I'm not looking for new content on Instagram. I'm
Also, like,
looking for
how many people do you hear say something like, I can't come up with like a caption for my TikTok?
nobody. You
Nobody
just don't
says that. But everybody says that for Instagram. It's like, I
because it's
don't want those
curated.
vibes. I
It's
don't,
Instagram is so highly curated
it's
that it
very curated.
loses genuineness that TikTok being such a weird place
Mhm.
can grow. Plus the algorithm just knows it's
Katie, you
so quick.
won't
It's so
understand
bad.
this, but
I want
this is another like comparison.
let's go.
TikTok is like the CP classes at Pinewood. It's like if Pinewood was like, we're getting rid of the CP level classes and you guys have to go to honors.
And
All
pretend.
honors. Like we're splitting all of you guys up. That is a horrible feeling. That is the same feeling.
Is it?
Yeah. So now you'll know what that could have felt like based on the TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I know people are like, "Oh, it's funny. The brain rot's gonna go away." I was like, "What do you mean? You're on Instagram just as much as I am on TikTok. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
curating
understand.
an Instagram feed or like
It's the same shit."
or being obsessed with people on Instagram that you're jealous of their lives, like that kind of brain rot is way worse than like watching stupid humor for a couple hours. It's like TikTok is my TV.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's Daniel always knows the sounds. He's like, "Oh, is this a sad TikTok? Oh, is this a dog tick?" Like just randomly be like, "Oh, what are you listening to?" But he's also like, "This isn't as cool as anything else." I was like, "Listen, if you don't want a TikTok, you don't have to have a TikTok, but
Just shut up.
you get shit that I've seen 2 weeks ago." Just so, like he'll show us, I'll be
No
like,
more than
"Daniela, I saw
Katie,
that a long
let's
time
be
ago."
real. The lag is like 2 months.
It's so long
It's a very long lag.
because Instagram's algorithm doesn't put things. It's not quick. It's oh, what actually will like. Oh, now we have 100K things we can go. Like I'm seeing stuff with very low followers and
Yeah.
um like Jake Shane when he was beginning. Like all those little things popping
When
up.
he was a literal nobody.
And he was a little nobody. All that was Fibula. We were there on the ground floor of Fibula.
Yeah. Ground zero.
Can't say ground zero.
His birthday's on 9/11. I can't say that.
I
works.
forgot his birthday's on 9/11. It is ground zero.
Apparently, he's moving to New York.
Oh.
And did you know that Brooke got a book deal?
I did see that. I didn't see that he was moving to New York.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the most recent episode, but
Like, so they're
word
doing the
on every
podcast just separate? She's staying in LA. Did he say why he's moving to New York?
I don't know, but I could have predicted it from a mile away. He's been going there all the time. Like it's definitely, I think, more his vibe.
It's
like
more comedy
more of a
focused.
comedy scene. New York is just like cool.
New York's so fun. I know.
LA's not cool. Like LA's cool and like the idea in your head.
I've never been to LA, so I can't say too much about it.
New York is just
I'm
like,
sure the
there's so much
beach
more
and that
going on.
vibe is nice, but
Mm-hmm.
they're very different cities.
Yeah.
That's Good for him.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I'm moving to New York.
So we're moving to New York. Yeah. Sorry. So we're officially moving to New
Yeah,
York.
so this is our announcement. Actually, we are moving to New York.
Between us both, we can afford one apartment.
And we have a book deal
We have a
on the
book deal.
rise. No, we
Yeah,
don't.
we could.
We
We got
could.
shit to say. We could write one.
I was thinking about that because in the book that I'm reading, she's writing a book. That's her whole thing. She's like, I'm writing a book. I'm writing a
I
book,
bet
but
this
he's
is the
not.
book that she's writing.
I would be
Maybe.
annoyed if that is how it ended.
That's sometimes how it goes, though. I'm writing a book and it's like, but this is it, and you're like, okay. But done in like
Katie,
a
why
bad
did you?
way.
Okay, I have to finish the book tonight anyway because it's not like there's
You have
not
that
that
many
many
pages
pages
left?
left. But now that you put that idea in my head, I'm like finishing it after we're done recording.
Okay, you have to let us know how it is.
Okay.
I'm currently reading the Fort Sumter history book as part of my mom and mine, my mom and me's, my
My
mom and me,
mommy and me.
my mommy and me's little book club where we each read a book and then talk about it.
You need to tell Mr. Stone.
We no.
Yeah, I'll
He doesn't
Facebook
work at
message
Pinewood
him up.
anymore.
I'll tell him. I know, but
Okay.
we're Facebook friends.
Oh, cute. But we read like 2 books a year. So it's the guy who wrote Eric Larson, who wrote Devil in the White City. I don't know if you read that. It's about the Chicago World's Fair and the serial killer H.H. Holmes and how they like intersect. He's written a few books like about Lusitania and some other stuff, and this is sort of like a prequel to the firing on Fort Sumter. And they talk about Hammond, the other school we would play against.
Mhm.
It's named after this guy who sucks. In case you couldn't guess. Shocker. A South Carolina Dixiecrat school, which is one of those ones that was made and to not let black people in until they were forced to allow black people, was named after this. He was a governor and then lost. But then he was a senator who was like there, who essentially proclaimed that like cotton is king. And it turns out that he had, I'm going to use the word affairs, aka with 4 of his nieces under the age of 16.
Fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yup.
Oh my god, we need to put
Like,
this family on blast.
Yeah. And
I'm just kidding about the
he
family.
was like cheating on his wife with his nieces, like because it was not his.
He's molesting his nieces.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. But the words like he was like, "Oh, they were tempting me," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" They're like 14. You fucking freak. And then I was like, "This is that guy who that school is named after."
That's
I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know that." And like, I love South Carolina. I read this book and I'm just like,
you can love the things that you love about the state, but
I know
that there's a horrible history to our entire country. Like it's not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is like heartbreaking. Apparently, like I'm not that far in it, but I was reading that and I was like, what
is this a straight history book or is it like a historical
it's nonfiction? It's nonfiction.
Oh.
Like this guy does a lot of research and he followed this family and a few others through like diaries and stuff and like pieced together and wrote a story about their lives. It's really interesting. It's just like nonfiction takes me a while to get through because it's very slow and I'm just like, God, this is fucking depressing me.
Yeah. What is that? Martini in a can? Oh, cute.
Sponsored. So Clayton left a bunch of sparkling water here last year, and I was a diehard sparkling water hater because I tried sparkling water once where it was just normal and I didn't like it. So I kind of was like, I hate this, all versions of it. I will not try other sparkling water ever. But then at the time, Clayton left a bunch here when he was last visiting for skiing. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't buy as much soda. So I just drank his. And I was like, you know what? This scratches an itch of wanting something that's not just water, but also something that isn't straight soda. So
yes,
I buy sparkling water now. Yeah. I really like the raspberry lime flavors.
Have you had Poppy?
No, it's more soda-y, right? I need to.
Katie, Poppy is like...
Oh my god, they're both purple and green.
Like if I want like something sweet, or that's another thing I do to treat myself. I'll have like a poppy.
But
If
it's
I
like
have like a meeting that I'm not looking forward to, I get a poppy.
you're like, I want to make my life.
I'm like,
But I
this
can
is
drink
this
like
will make it better.
2 of these a day, and I'm like, it's water. I'm
You can have
pretending
2 of
it's
those
the
a
same
day. I
water.
would be careful. So one thing with like sparkling water, like LaCroix and stuff, something with how they package it,
I
um,
haven't bought LaCroix because it's expensive.
puts a lot of like chemicals in the water. So I
Like the
would look
natural
up.
flavors and stuff.
I think it's no, I think it's more to do with like the packaging or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I know LaCroix has like high levels of it, so we stopped drinking LaCroix. So
Okay.
let me look into that.
I haven't bought LaCroix, so
But just
I'll look
check
into it.
that, because that's
Yeah.
just another like a store
You
brand
can't
version.
fucking win, can you?
You really can't, honestly.
Everything
Just put a
sucks.
little bit of bleach in it.
Just like a little Tide Pod action.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about the Tide Pod challenge.
TikTok, man.
Let's bring it
Maybe
back.
they should have banned it. They should have banned it then when people were eating Tide Pods, not because of
No.
fake Chinese influence in America. It's like, wow, our youth are pretty fucking radical. It's like, yeah, because your policies suck, not because China is telling us to be that way. God. Oh.
Oh man.
Living the dream. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on our little happy hour convo. We kind of bounced around a bit, but that's what makes it fun. Feel free to submit any ideas you'd love for us to talk about, just general thoughts. And we hope that you've learned a lot and
Laughed.
laughed a lot. Yeah. We miss you and we love you. This reminds me of
Illy.
Delilah in the morning. Illy.
Let us know how you like the happy hour episodes
Yes, we would love some feedback,
by leaving a 5-star review on Spotify.
which means you've loved it and we have no comments.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok for now at Life and the Party Pod.
All right. Thank y'all.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.